The State Weather Bureau says Super Typhoon Nando has made landfall over Panuitan Island in Cagayan. In its 5 p.m. bulletin on Monday, September 22, Pag-asa says Nando made landfall over Panuitan Island around 3 p.m. As of 4 p.m., Pag-asa says Nando was spotted over the coastal waters of Cagayan Island in Cagayan. Nando packs maximum sustained winds of 215 km per hour and gustiness of up to 295 km per hour. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 5 remains over Panuitan Islands, where extreme threat to life and property is expected. Signal number 4 is up over the southern portion of Batanes, the northern portion of mainland Cagayan, and the northern portion of Ilocos Norte. The rest of Batanes, the central portion of mainland Cagayan, the northern and central portions of Apayao, and the rest of Ilocos Norte are currently under signal number 3. Signal number 2 is hoisted over the rest of mainland Cagayan, Isabela, the rest of Apayao, Abra, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, the northern portion of Benguet, the northeastern portion of Nueva Vizcaya, Ilocos Sur, and the northern portion of La Union. Meanwhile, Pag-asa raised signal number 1 over Quirino, the rest of Nueva Vizcaya, the rest of Benguet, the rest of La Union, Pangasinan, Aurora, Nueva Ecija, Bulacan, Tarlac, Pampanga, Zambales, and the northern portion of Quezon, including Polillo Islands. According to Pag-asa, Nando is seen to move away from the Panuitan Islands Monday evening. On the track forecast, the agency says Nando will exit the Philippine Area of Responsibility Tuesday morning, September 23. Pag-asa notes that Nando is currently at its peak intensity, although slight intensification is still not ruled out. Nevertheless, Pag-asa says Nando is forecast to begin weakening within 24 hours due to the marginally favorable environment it will encounter over the West Philippine Sea. President Bongbong Marcos is willing to submit himself to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure over allegations that he received millions of pesos in campaign funds from public works contractors. At a press briefing on Monday, September 22, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro says Marcos is open to being investigated if evidence links him to the allegations.
Opo, matapang po ang Pangulo at alam po niya ang kanyang ginagawa at kung ano man ang maaari maimbestigahan dito, hindi rin po niya i-excuse ang sarili niya.
The Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism earlier reported that Marcos received 20 million pesos from tycoon Rodolfo Hilot Jr. during his 2022 election bid. Hilot is the owner of Zamboanga del Sur-based Rudhill Construction and Enterprises Incorporated. The PCIJ noted that Hilot gave a campaign donation while a number of his company's government contracts were still ongoing. According to the PCIJ, this violated a provision of the Omnibus Election Code prohibiting candidates from accepting contributions from entities engaged in business with the government. Under the Marcos administration, the PCIJ pointed out that the contractor was awarded 2.7 billion pesos in infrastructure projects in 2023, then the value of its contracts ballooned to 3.5 billion pesos in 2024. During Monday's briefing, Castro says Malacanang will let the Commission on Elections do its investigation, noting that it is the agency's mandate to probe into such issues. Marcos himself initiated the creation of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure in response to public outcry over anomalous flood control projects in the country. He has previously pledged that the commission will operate with transparency and independence. The president also said the commission will spare no one in its investigations. Senate President Tito Sotto and Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson meet with the 3-member Independent Commission for Infrastructure on Monday, September 22. In a message, Sotto says they met to discuss how budget amendments and insertions are made. According to Sotto, the Senate's probe into the anomalous flood control projects will continue despite the Commission's separate investigation. Sotto says the chamber will submit to the body all the Blue Ribbon Committee's findings regarding the matter. Meanwhile, Lacson confirms to Inquirer that he was with the Commission on Monday afternoon but declines to give details. Lacson heads the Blue Ribbon Committee, currently probing into alleged corruption in flood control projects. At the committee's hearings, Senators Jinggoy Estrada and Joel Villanueva were implicated in the flood control scandal. Former Public Works and Highways District Engineer Bryce Hernandez alleged that Estrada and Villanueva maneuvered to allocate 355 million pesos and 600 million pesos for funding in Bulacan's 1st District in exchange for an alleged 30% cut. Both Estrada and Villanueva have denied the allegations made by Hernandez. The Blue Ribbon panel has since confirmed the existence of the 355 million peso insertion in the 2025 General Appropriations Act and a 600 million peso insertion in the 2023 unprogrammed budget tied to Villanueva. President Bongbong Marcos issued on September 11 Executive Order No. 94 creating the Independent Commission for Infrastructure. The independent super body is tasked to investigate government infrastructure works over the past decade. Marcos previously vowed that the Independent Commission for Infrastructure will not spare anyone in its investigations, not even the president's political allies. Police say masked individuals involved in violence during anti-corruption protests on September 21 appear to belong to a youth subculture influenced by a hip-hop gang. Manila Police District spokesperson Major Philip Ines says preliminary interviews with detained rioters revealed that a prominent rapper inspired them. Ines declines to identify the rapper involved.
Initially po, nakuha lang natin information. Mamiyan po ito ng mga hip-hop na gangster. Yun lang po yung nakuha natin. At ang kiniklaim po nila na influensya na po sila ng isa pong tinatawag natin na mga isang rapper na personality, pero hindi po natin nababalidate ito. Account lang po ito ng mga nasa kustudiya po natin.
Several protests against corruption in government were held on Sunday, September 21, sparked by alleged irregularities in flood control projects. Black-clad, masked individuals clashed with police at the foot of Ayala Bridge in Manila. They also set a trailer on fire near the road leading to Malacanang Palace. The commotion erupted after the program led by Bagong Alyansang Makabayan in Menjola concluded. Malacanang earlier condemned the violence committed by what it called criminals hijacking the peaceful anti-corruption protests. Bayan said individuals in the clashers were not affiliated with their organization. Even so, Bayan President Renato Reyes said he will not condemn the poor who expressed their anger against the system in ways that might be uncomfortable. The motoring public will pay even more for petroleum products this week as local fuel retailers announce price increases of as much as 1 peso a liter. In an advisory Monday, September 22, local oil firms say prices of gasoline and kerosene will rise by 1 peso per liter. Diesel prices will also go up, but by 80 centavos per liter. Fuel price adjustments are effective Tuesday, September 23. This marks the 6th consecutive week of gasoline price hikes and the 5th for diesel. Last week, an industry source and the Department of Energy attributed potential price hikes to persistent geopolitical conflict that continues to impact global oil prices.